Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Johanna, and today I'm procrastinating working on my taxes. So instead, I'm going to make this video for you. This is on two fragrances from Calvin Klein from the CK1 line of flankers. I remember when CK1 first came out back in the 1990s, and I was maybe in my first year of college. And it was like the first fragrance I remember being marketed specifically to unisex. I thought that was really edgy. At the time, it was, I think, edgy. At least where I lived, that was an edgy concept. So I got these two. CK1 Chalk for men, or for him, and CK1 Chalk for her. This aesthetic, the presentation, the bottles come with this kind of, and when you see them pictured, they always have this kind of a lid. And that was how it was with CK1 that I had bought way back in the day. And then what you do is in the box, one of these comes with it, a sprayer, and you unscrew this and you just put on the sprayer and you basically, I don't know, keep this for if you ever need to travel, I guess. But there's no actual lid for these. It's just like this then. There's no lid. I just think it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to talk to you about these two fragrances. I think CK1 has always been marketed towards younger people, like probably college age. At least, you know, that's just what I thought of when I looked at the marketing for CK1. And I definitely think these two are marketed towards younger people. You know, they've got the bright green and the bright pink, actually kind of retro, but you know, the 80s and the 90s are back in terms of style. And so these fragrances are on the less mature side. I mean, if I were to compare these two as far as maturity and audience, this one's definitely more mature. And this one is more like a floral, fruity, lighthearted fragrance. And that's why I buy a lot of fragrances that are marketed towards men, because they strike me as more mature and what I'm looking for. And yet at the same time, something like this, which is like more fruity, sweet, and lighthearted, this I use for layering with things that are more resinous because I want both. And sometimes you can't get both in one fragrance. So which one should I start talking about? I feel like more people are gonna like this one, maybe. I don't know, this one's more complex than this one, but they're both by the same perfumer. These both came out in 2011, and the perfumer for both is Gottlieb. I'll talk about the one for him first. The top notes are lavender, clementine, which is an orange, and cucumber. The middle notes, cardamom, pepper, basil, and osmanthus, which is a kind of flower. And then the base notes, tobacco, amber, patchouli, woodsy notes, and musk. Well, you know, you can smell the lavender and it smells masculine. Lavender is used in a lot of masculine fragrances, fougères. Fragrantica lists this fragrance as an amber spicy fragrance. Amber is in the base, and spicy, there's pepper, which is like a black pepper, basil, cardamom. Yeah, those are the spices in here. And the floral, the only floral used is osmanthus, which smells woody and, let me smell my osmanthus again. This is like, this needs to be dilute even further than 5% because it is really strong stuff. And you can't use it when it's so concentrated because you need to be able to control the amount you're using. This is bitter and woody. And there's something else. There's something to the bitterness. I can't remember what that reminds me of, but osmanthus, you know, I've never smelled it in the flower form before. You can smell lavender here. I definitely don't smell cucumber. Let me respray it. The cucumber wouldn't last, you know, it's a top note. Okay, so it's got a freshness that could be the cucumber, fresh, slightly green. I like black pepper in fragrances. It's not what you would think. It doesn't usually come across like when you smell actual black pepper in food. Black pepper is has a different way of smelling when it's in perfume. Wow, cardamom and basil. Cardamom is kind of sweet in a, you know, it's a spice that's somewhat sweet and bright and like open. And basil has an openness too. Basil is a little aromatic. I can see why they use that in this fragrance. So the lavender is aromatic, the basil aromatic. I'm really not picking up on osmanthus in here. But like I said, osmanthus is kind of woody smelling, so it would go well with a masculine fragrance. What you really smell is the tobacco. And you smell that from the very beginning, and it's kind of sweet. Tobacco in fragrances is pretty sweet, and they used a lot of tobacco in here. They used patchouli, which I don't smell, but it's a supportive aspect to it. Woodsy notes and musk. Yeah, I like this fragrance. I think a lot of guys like this fragrance. A lot of guys in their 20s and 30s, maybe even teenagers. I'm sure teenagers like this. And they think of it as mature. And it is on the more mature side because you don't get tobacco in many fragrances. And cardamom, you know, cardamom is good to use in fragrances. Osmanthus, I think she did a great job with this fragrance. I would say that this holds up. If you want something that's masculine or mature, and also you like tobacco, and you want something that's also approachable, like you can wear it, and people will like this. People will like this scent. So yeah, I like this. I'm glad I got it. I think half has been used. You know, Calvin Klein isn't noted for having fragrances that last a long time, so you do have to spray a lot. Right, next let's talk about Calvin Klein Shock for Her. The main accords are sweet, fruity. So this is a sweet, fruity fragrance with vanilla, and then floral, chocolate, warm, spicy, powdery, cacao, which is also chocolate, but cacao and musky. And the notes are, top notes are passion flower, red poppy, and peony. Those are soft florals. They're not they're not sharp at all. Delicate. Yeah, those are delicate florals. And then in the mid notes, Mexican chocolate, blackberry, narcissus, and jasmine. You know, I don't really pick up the chocolate, but it's nice to have. When you have vanilla, sometimes adding chocolate just makes it a little bit more interesting and fuller. It's there. It's just slight. It's not a chocolate fragrance. And then in the base, there's vanilla, musk, amber, and patchouli. I just don't smell patchouli in here. It's just a supportive. Patchouli is like a building block, you know. It gives substance to the fragrance, but you don't have to actually be able to smell it in order for it to be doing its function in the fragrance. So when I spray this, like I said, I do usually layer it, but I've usually applied other things first, and then I use it to kind of like top things off and make it more sweet and soft. It's like a sweet, soft fragrance. It's very easy to use, easy to wear, and agreeable, friendly. This is a happy fragrance, happy, friendly, and you know, it's got more interesting notes than other fragrances that are just fruity florals, you know, because they put the chocolate that gives depth. Blackberry, well, blackberry is one of my favorite fruity notes. And the narcissus, I'm still trying to get my nose on some narcissus material so I can smell isolated what it's like. And red poppy I haven't smelled before, so I am wondering what that contributes. The florals that you do pick up on, I mean, this is mostly fruity and sweet and vanillic, but the florals are there. And that, like I said, they're delicate, soft, happy, feminine, I think summertime. And this isn't like a heavy amber. When it has amber in it, it's not heavy. It's balanced, but not with a lot of heavy like depth or resinous to it. This is powdery. This is a powdery texture to the fragrance. The vanilla makes it powdery. I think it's the vanilla that's making it powdery, and then maybe the musks. But the musks are white musks. And there are like hundreds of white musks that you can use, that you can blend together. And they have different effects. Yeah. So these two fragrances, not expensive at all, just easy to reach for, easy to spray. If you're gonna go on a trip and you wanna bring something but you don't have much room, you can just bring one of these. I don't layer these together. I don't think they would be right together as a layer, but they're cool to have. If you're a frag head, you definitely want to go for this one if you're going to go for either, because this one, it's, I don't know, maybe I'm doing it not justice, but I feel like it's kind of just a sweet, fruity floral. I feel like this one's more high quality. And the tobacco gives it that richness and masculine energy that I think it's nice. I think it's nice in a modern mainstream perfume for a man to have the tobacco note there. And the spices, you know, like the fresh spicy basil and the osmanthus and cardamom. You know, you don't get that in a lot of mainstream fragrances. And cucumber. Yeah, you know, so cucumber is just kind of there, just like bringing something that doesn't last a very long time, but makes it also smell more masculine, as well as the lavender. All right, well, let me know what your favorite Calvin Klein fragrance is, or more than one. Calvin Klein is now being marketed by some other companies, but you know, it's a designer fragrance line, and just can't help but liking Calvin Klein. I do be careful that I don't order too many different things from Calvin Klein, because I'll probably be more likely to be disappointed than with other, you know, more high-end kinds of perfumes, because Calvin Klein is more mass marketed. So I don't think they're expensive to produce. Thanks for watching.